Oh, paperback?
Yeah. Fuck, I left the shoes.
I've been trying so hard just to find my way back home to you. I've been thinking it's been so long, sugar baby, since I've talked to you. I need the love I have in you. No one else will do.
What is up, humans? Welcome to Howling Dog Tattoo. We're here today with Don Taylor.
What's up?
He's helped us out with a lot of our SB release t-shirts and stuff lately, and some other stuff that you guys have yet to see yet. Projects
in the works.
Projects in the works that we're really hoping are going to work out. Maybe.
Yeah, it should be more of a praying hands rather than the evil plotting, right?
I think evil plotting works better. Yes, we are going to make it happen. Anyway, so we're here at Howling Dog Tattoo. We're here to talk about the Nike SB Ben & Jerry's Chunky Dunky release that is releasing this Saturday on the 23rd, 2020. What month are we in? I don't even know what month this is.
It's all blurring together.
Dude, we're like 12 weeks into isolation.
This is some of the first human interaction I've had in a long time, so.
We're trying to keep our distance, you know, I don't know, it's, anyway, we're coming off of, I'm gonna stop. Ugh, cut. Where do I go from there?
The raffle?
That's just how I shut down in my brain. I have not slept in like 24 hours. That is one thing I wanted to say, like, these raffles or these releases never go easy for the shops, and people are brutal about it. Please be easier to your shops.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a big network of friends that own skate shops, and man, we just get obliterated.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
We get a lot of support and a lot of love, so I should maybe focus on the love. That's what Bluetile is about, but...
Always a silver lining. You can't please everybody, but I mean, it seems like the plan that you have is taking care of everybody, especially your biggest supporters and people that are local.
We're trying. So yeah, I lost all my sleep last night because of this. And I hope it goes smoothly. I'm really excited about it. I'm really stoked on all the interest. And
a lot of hype around the show.
It's so crazy.
Of hype around the show.
We actually got a comment that we had to postpone our raffle that was supposed to start Monday. We actually started it Tuesday. We postponed it one day, but we got a bunch of comments about trying to increase the hype.
I don't think you could increase it much more.
My phone can't ring any more than it already is, you know, like. So that's a joke. I think we always think that's kind of funny, but anyway, like I said, we are having a kind of a local raffle between North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia for our release. You can sign up at blutilesc.com. We got a lot of regular customers from those bordering states, so we wanted to help them out. We just don't have a lot of pairs. We really wish we could take care of everyone because we know we have fans all over the world, and especially in the United States.
Which is awesome, but I mean, you could also look at this as like, well, if you're that far away, maybe now's a good time to support your local skate shop. Well, right,
somebody hit us up from Atlanta and said, yo, no shops from here are getting it. Stratosphere is definitely getting it. I can't believe it.
Absolutely. I'm sure someone's in Charlotte.
Is definitely getting it. That's
Sheep.
The homies. Go see Thomas, go see Ian, get them from there. Black Sheep, go see Josh at Black Sheep, get them from there if you're in Charlotte. But yeah, everybody's doing raffles because of this social distancing thing, and that definitely throws a weird wrench into the
especially with some states being open, some states not being open.
Yeah, South Carolina's open. We're actually being a little more vigilant than our neighbors are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were actually, as tattoo studios in the state, we were allowed to open this past Monday on the 18th, and I know some have opened. I know some, ours included, we're not opening until the 2nd of June. It's nothing against those that are opening, you know what I mean?
It's just more of a national standard, I think, is 1st of June or
I
first
think
week
so,
in June.
and
Yeah.
at the same time, I mean, we've got a lot of appointments to rebook, and we've got a lot of clients to reach out to. We've had people reaching out to us since the lockdown, so I mean, just off of us handling appointments is a headache, and that's what we do on a daily basis. So I can only begin to fathom how insane your email account has been blowing up based off of these drops.
Man, there are people all over the world hitting. I grew up in Australia. I went to high school in Australia. My friends from Australia are hitting me up for these shoes, which is awesome. I love it. I love the excitement, and I love like being able to figure out new ways to do business and also work with new people to create awesome content, awesome product or whatever. You created your own shirt for the dog walkers.
Oh yeah, shop shirt. I'm sure Nike wouldn't approve, but
no, definitely not.
They don't have me on contract yet.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, that's why I brought Don on today, and we also just wanted to change the scenery a little bit, so we came to his business to just kind of talk about
always welcome. Appreciate you coming by.
maybe his creative process, but also like what inspired him to just come into the shop one day and say, "Hey, look what I made," and try to get and try to start working with us. Like he actually had a really broad portfolio of work that you'd done for just as a fan art of sneakers and tattoo stuff and just random things. So
sometimes it's worth the risk. I mean,
yeah.
I figured, what's the worst that he's gonna do? Say no?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I've already got somebody. Okay, it's not like I need
Right.
this as a regular job, but I mean, if you, especially as artists, the term starving artist kills me because I feel like a lot of it's just being lazy.
What
like
about a
everybody
starving skateboard shop owner?
Actually,
Oh,
believe me,
you can tell I'm not starving. Never mind.
There are days I don't know if starving is the right word, but yeah, your money definitely goes into it being a small business.
It is a struggle.
But
It is doing your own thing is definitely the hustle. You know, you're always hustling. So
absolutely, and as an artist, like the best way. I mean, I lived in Columbia for a while. My wife went to grad school up at Ohio State, so we left for a few years, and we just recently came back. When I came back, opened the shop and kind of got back to work. And I haven't really gotten my work out there and talked to many people. And I have so many friends, and I've come and bought shoes from Bluetile forever, and I've always liked the stuff you guys have put out. So I was like, you know what? I love shoes. I know one of the dunks that's getting ready to come out, so I don't have to like ask about it. And what's the worst that can happen? You know.
Yeah.
And so I drew up that strawberry, and then one thing led to another, and here we sit.
So yeah, he literally came in one day. This is how we met. He was just like, "Hey, I want to start doing some art for some shoes. This is something I drew. If you're interested in it, you can use it." And it was a drawing for the strawberry cough. And like a lot of people approach us with collabs, or they want us to carry their brand or do whatever, and they don't have anything to present. Don came in with a wealth of art and a wealth of already created objects, and was like, "Look at all this stuff. Look what I can do." And
yeah, it was more of, well, if you don't like this, I still would love to work with you in the future. So here's a whole bunch of other stuff that I've done.
Yeah,
and if anything strikes your fancy, let me know, and we can figure something out.
Yeah, I think he actually left. I'm like, "Man, we can't do a strawberry, you know, the cease and desist or whatever you want to call it, copyright laws or whatever. We've got a little microscope on us, so we try to play it safe with our designs these days." And I was like, "We can't do strawberries." And I think Don was like, "Well, you know, what I'm really hyped on is the Ben and Jerry's shoe that's coming out." And I was I've got to do the art for that one.
Kind of a crackhead about it.
Yeah.
Ever since I've seen pictures of it, I've been obsessed with these
Was
shoes.
it the next day you sent art of that? Or 2 days later?
So. Well, to be honest, what it was, and this is becoming clean, because I have a website where we have our own shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which you can plug that if you want.
Oh, I mean, you can check out my personal. Well, it's not important. Who cares about that?
We'll put it on the damn
shoes.
screen.
Let's worry about the
We're
shoes.
going to put it on the
stuff,
screen anyway.
But so
Dan
I hate to admit that I was using the strawberry kind of as bait.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know when the release date was going to be for the Ben and Jerry's.
Okay.
But I already had some stuff kind of set aside that I just hadn't shown you at first. To be like, oh, well, if that didn't work, I've already got some stuff in the works, so I could kind of jump in. But yeah, I was already obsessed with that. But the reason I had drawn those up, and it's actually why those first two ones kind of failed miserably for us, as far as like...
Which ones? The ice cream parlor?
So, yeah, the ice cream parlor and the Coke float with the trying to play off the Soda
dope.
City. They were both cool, but I mean, like we could immediately see how they didn't work with what we were trying to go
right.
with.
It maybe didn't tell the story as well, but it was still like, dude, we should maybe use all of these. Well, maybe I'll post those in the. We'll put those up in the video too. I'll email the
an
files
excuse to go check out Instagram accounts. And
oh yeah, that's true. Check it out on Instagram. But yeah, they were all really sick, and it was just like.
Appreciate it.
I think it was the next design was the ice cream truck that we did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm not even sure where the idea popped in. Got to give a lot of credit to my.
Was it maybe? Did Irving say something about an ice cream truck, or
could have been?
I can't remember.
We went back and forth with so many ideas,
Yeah,
and then the ice cream truck was like, "Well, it might be a little too like wild and cartoony, but
Yeah.
like, what do you think?" And you're like, "Nope, perfect."
Yeah. So
ding, 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 we have a winner.
so the actual story to that was.
Seems like you guys like that as well.
But we can't do ice cream for the Ben and Jerry's, so let's do a 420 Munchies T-shirt.
Yeah.
So we actually released our Ben and Jerry's shirt for 420, and we called it the Munchies Tee, and I've got it right here. A lot of you guys have already seen it.
I've actually seen a couple floating around town, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what?
So we did it with a little left chest on this sky blue. I thought it looked cool because it looked like the Ben and Jerry's clouds a little bit.
Yeah.
Left chest and a full back on these tees. So we'll get a closer
They
look
came
at
out
those
awesome.
for you. Yeah, so we released these originally on 420. We made literally a very small restock of these shirts to go with this order here, or this release here. And then this I'm really hyped on.
Oh, that came out great.
Yeah. So we've done some tie-dye hoodies before in the past.
Ah.
I'm maybe standing up out of frame here, but these are a little bit nicer hoodies just in the fact that the fabric was dyed and then the garment was assembled. So these are going to fit more true to size. And it's got that truck on the front, nothing on the back. But you can see how vibrant it is. It actually goes perfect with the
Yeah, that's awesome.
with the shoes. So yeah, anyway, that's our shirt, our sweatshirt, and our t-shirt, and this is the guy who made it. Yeah. Alright, so now where?
Great question.
Yeah. So another thing that I wanted to bring up is how cool Ben and Jerry's has been through this process. You know, they made this really crazy shoe. I actually tried to find cow print t-shirts that we could put stuff on, but I couldn't find them. But Ben and Jerry's actually has an Instagram contest. I think it's just #ChunkyDunky, but you can basically do your own skateboard trick.
I saw that. Create your own skateboard trick,
Yeah.
and you can get a pair if they pick it.
Yeah, yeah. So you can
That's
win a
super
pair
cool.
through Ben and Jerry's Instagram. if
They're
you-
trying to inject themselves into skateboarding forever.
a little bit, but I just think it's cool. They realize the message behind these shoes, and it's kind of getting more people
Yeah.
into skating, which I
Well,
think is awesome.
And what's funny is I never knew this. I've seen so many pictures of it up close, but it wasn't until you pulled them out to get ready to shoot for this. Behind the tongue, it says, "If it's not fun, why do it?" If that didn't make you want the shoes alone,
Yeah, yeah. That's
pretty
sick.
awesome.
Yep.
Like, and it's true. I mean, you got to do what makes you happy, or at least do more of what makes you happy.
Yeah, and these are on your kind of newer Dunk sole that came out. I mean, a decade ago, but some like the Tiffany release and the Lobsters were on the traditional Dunk sole. These are on your skate one. You still have your lace protection loops here, and your memory foam heel buds in the shoe. So, you know, it's skatable. It's crazy material, but it's definitely skatable.
I can't speak on the sense of skating.
Yeah.
However, I would wear the life out of dunks.
So you never got into skating, or?
I have terrible balance.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, 90% of my friends have skated or currently skate. Some have skated for you over the years.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
it's,
skated with John Blaze day before yesterday. Yeah.
love that dude. But every time I have tried, I have failed so miserably. I'm like Bambi on ice, like baby giraffe level. It's really. So I leave it to the professionals.
So what's the allure to SBs then?
Well, so I have a love for just sneakers in general. I like art, and as soon as I started looking at sneakers from like the ones that were designed with like portraying a message, whether it be an individual artist or a skater or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
It got me into shoes as a whole, and then I realized that like my art style and more the cartoony kind of wild out there super nerdy stuff, it's all Dunks, and it's on sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, like currently I'm wearing a pair of Dunk highs. I couldn't do a kickflip to save my life right now. So a little bit of me feels like a poser, and I apologize to any hardcore skaters that are out there that think that, but I always give credit to the real skaters.
Dude, 90% of our customers don't skate, you know, like it helps us, we appreciate our skateboard customers more than anything, because that's why I started the shop.
Yeah.
Because I've been skating for 30-something years, or God, 35 years, that's insane. So yeah, I've been skating almost my whole life, and that's why I started the shop. But I see some shops that are like, they're kind of standoffish about the sneakerheads on their social media or whatever, you know, it's like, don't call, don't do this. I'm like, it is super frustrating sometimes to field all the phone calls and all the DMs and all the emails, and it's super hard. We don't have a call center.
Yeah.
You know, it's just me.
It's like,
I took the phone to lunch today, so I'm driving around answering your calls on the shop phone, so it's really hard. But I really love the sneaker culture too, just because it reminds me of like, you know, I'm a closet comic book collector, magic card collector,
nerd too.
you know, so I'm a big nerd, so I know what it's like to line up for limited edition stuff, you know.
Understandable. And I never in a million years would have thought that I would get into shoes the way I have.
I think skateboarders, it's kind of natural or inherent to get into shoes because you just go through them every couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're so psyched you got some new shoes because your feet aren't going to bleed anymore.
I have a weird stance with Dunks though.
Yeah.
It's one of the only shoes, and it's a weird stance because you look at most sneakerhead shoes and you got a lot of them that are basketball shoes, right? By
we started
definition.
skating in Jordan 1s.
Yeah. And it's funny to me because you see people wearing those all the time, but those shoes never step foot on a court.
Right. Exactly.
But for something like this, like when I first see this, it just screams sneakerhead shoe. Yeah, however, I would prefer to see a skater skate that shoe.
Yeah.
Than see it walk around and be cared for and taken care of.
Well,
just because it would be ridiculous to see on someone's foot.
It makes the sneakerhead cringe too.
Yeah.
Hurt.
I tattoo in stuff that makes the other artists that I work with, which everybody here is into sneakers, and I have clients that come through. I post a picture and won't think about it, and you can see it, and they'll be like, "Dude, you're tattooing in those? Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't do that, I would never wear them.
Yeah. So it's like the stories that draw you to it?
The stories, sometimes it's like the look, and then I end up finding out about artists or designers, or, I mean, because I wasn't a skater, but I was into it, especially growing up as a kid. So I know, you know, a lot of the big names, but I find out about who Reese Forbes was. And
see, I think that's cool. It brings people into skateboarding.
I think so. I don't think everybody researches stuff. I think a lot of people just care about the price tag.
Yeah.
And they don't realize.
That ain't me, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it was me. So
yeah. That's
I feel like that's kind of like a double-edged sword with it, because a reason one of these shoes could be popular is because of skate history. Yeah. And that would drive the price up of a shoe, which then takes it out of the hands of the people that would truly appreciate it, and now you're putting it in the hands of like the dude that just wants to put it in his closet. He's never going to wear it.
Dude, and that brings us to a point too, is like, you know, also another comment, you know, it's like when we said we had to postpone our raffle, people are like, oh, you're backdooring them, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I am seriously such a stickler to these things. Like, even my employees and my team riders, they all want the shoes, but they just enter the raffles too. You know,
first words you said when we first met were, I'd love to work with you, man, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you outright, I cannot get you any pair of Dunk releases when they come out. Those, I'm not even kidding, like the first things, and I was like, no, I assumed that was going to be the case.
I'm like, I will pay you for the artwork,
yeah,
but I cannot promise you the shoes. That is it. I can't do it. I had a photographer, a really good photographer, to hit me up today wanting to take photos, and he's based out of New York. He's like, yeah, just sell me the shoes early and I'll do it and I'll shout you out. And he had like 43,000 followers. He's an old customer. He used to live here. I'm like, dude, I just can't because we don't get that many, you know. And it's like,
I mean, I came in and bought shirts with my design on them to give to other people just to get raffle tickets for this thing.
Well, I mean, I told him too, you know, I was just like, there's a balance. It's like, okay, so essentially we know the street value of these, so it's basically like, okay, I'm going to pay this person X amount of dollars for one photo on an Instagram account. And it's like, yeah, it's an influencer and it could bring more eyes on us, but we have a lot of eyes on us. You know, and it's the same thing. I think it's Eddie Wynn Kicks has done some videos for us. He does some pretty sick YouTube videos. And when I can, I try to get him a shoe or the shirts or something like that. But the reality is like, we don't need to broaden our reach that much. And it kind of sucks. It's like, okay, we're going to broaden our reach for the same amount of shoes. Like, there's just not enough of the shoes to go around already. So it's like,
there's no need to raise the demand when the supply is doing nothing, but if anything, getting smaller on some of the crazier releases.
But I want more eyes. I do want it. I wish we got more pairs because I would love to work more with those creators, or like my buddy Albert at Stash Boxes, or Andy at SB or Nothing. I'd love to do more with those guys. But I'm just like, I'll send you a t-shirt once in a while. I don't know how to get you shoes, I'm sorry. And, you know, and a lot of times they're more privy to information about this stuff than I am. So that's pretty sick. Back to the stories. With our raffle, we tried to set up two, like, kind of blockades, I guess you could call it, for bots.
Which I think is a great way of doing it.
We try, you know, there can be code written for anything, but one of them was we just asked people to write a story about their favorite dunk, you know,
and there's a lot of crazy different dunks from all years, so I can only imagine how many different ones have been coming out.
There were some cool stories, but you actually had a cool story about these. Did you want to tell it, or too much?
Is it about these, or?
It was about your sister.
Okay. So, when I was a kid,
yeah, I mean, you don't have to get that personal, but I thought it was a cool story. Why these stories are so personal to some people, I think that's kind of cool, and people have been writing us. I'll read a few in a little while, but they've been emailing us their stories about their favorite shoes, and I think that's rad.
And what's funny is that the reason I asked which shoe is because since I don't own these, I was going with my favorite pair of Dunk that I own, and the name of my shop being the Howling Dog. Obviously, it's the Dog Walker.
Yeah.
But when I first saw pictures of these, Ben & Jerry's holds a close place for me. My sister left the house when she was 16, so she was living with my grandmother for a bit, and she lived in Charlotte. Well, the only way I could visit her was to go, when I visited my grandmother, I would go see her.
Right.
And I say that not because being forced, it was just difficult. Anyways, one of the things we used to always do was I would rollerblade and she would jog. We'd go down the street and we'd go to Ben & Jerry's.
Rollerblader.
I know. No. When I say the age, I'm not talking about like Fruit Booter. I'm talking like I was a kid in like 19 pads with the helmet. I'm like barely able to. I was young. You gotta cut me a little bit of slack.
You got it.
But that was like, I've had an obsession with Ben & Jerry's cookie dough ice cream ever since, and any variation that's got cookie dough.
Because it was like a bonding moment with you and your sister.
And to this day, I mean, even both my oldest sisters, cookie dough, that goes back to when I was little. They used to sneak me out of my room, and we'd go watch The Simpsons illegally in the playroom until I repeated "Eat My Shorts" at 3 years old, and my sisters got in trouble for it. But when I saw these, I knew I had to have them.
Yeah,
so hopefully one of my raffle tickets maybe goes. But there's so many raffle tickets you showed me how to go through. I'm starting to just be like, well, we're gonna have to look at resale prices.
Yeah.
Shit.
Man, before we even announced that we had opened our raffle, we got it figured out last night, but we wanted the numbers to kind of trickle in at first to see if it was working. It didn't trickle in ever. As soon as we posted it, it's just like, okay, we're screwed. But it's going to be hard to get these, and it's very frustrating for us too, because like, dude, I have so many good friends and good customers and people I respect, and I want to see get the shoes, but it like puts us in this really precarious and weird.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, dude, I know you are a really great customer, but you're also not the only really great customer that's begging for the 9.
Yeah.
You know, or the 10 or the 13, you know, or usually it's the 8 that everybody wants. But anyway, so I did want to, I'm going to scroll through a couple of these stories through the emails that we got.
I was going to say, I was debating on maybe going to the other skate shops as well, just to sneak in another raffle ticket at a couple other locations just to try to up my chances.
I entered Continuum's raffle for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So
my biggest thing is if one of them tries to do the, well, you've got to be here in person for pickup, or you've got to be able to do something like that.
Right.
I got to make sure I can get there in the day.
Yeah.
Just in case, but
yeah. So again, we'll just touch on that really quick. The in-store pickup is something that we were kind of, you know, South Carolina's opened up for retail, so we were like, really, are we really gonna allow people in for these pickups and these?
That's another right now. That's a
open the door.
Question.
Yeah, just open the door for raffles. Like we were on the fence about it. Well, then you know we had talked to some other peers and some other business associates, we'll say, and it was impressed upon us that we should not have any hand-to-hand contact through any of these sales. So
I love that phrasing. Impressed upon us
by business associates that we should not have any just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
So that's it. So we had to change our raffle last minute, and we apologize to everyone. I know it's frustrating, but imagine having to work behind the scenes to fix all that. A lot more frustrating.
I'm not jealous of that. Believe me, every time I see a new shoe come out, I'm like, oh, I wish I owned a skate shop or a sneaker store. And then you hear about that, and you're like, nope, never mind, I'm good.
Yeah. So anyway, some of these I forgot to screen grab the name, but this one on our raffle, it asks you a question: favorite Nike SB release, and it says, this is from Joseph Jimenez. He says, one of my favorite Nike SB release was probably the Travis Scott Dunks, and the Chunky Dunky is now my favorite. So that brings me to a point. I wanted to focus on that one because the multitude of Travis Scott's and Chunky Dunky favorites that we got already, it's like you can tell how much extra excitement or energy the Travis Scott brought into the SB line. It's insane how many new eyes it brought on things. To some people, those are the only 2 shoes they know.
Yeah. I mean, I know people that the first questions they ask, and they're like, oh, you're into shoes? Do you have a Travis Scott?
Yeah.
Do you have the Travis Scott Jordan 1?
I know.
And it's like, dude, those are the only shoes that exist, and I'm not sure, you don't get those on drop, they're high 3 figures, if not in the 4s.
I know. And so, that said, you know, like we never thought we would see hype more than those Travis Scotts.
Yeah, I was surprised that these were almost more.
These are more.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, we were looking at the online
prices. Street prices are going up like crazy. Like, but not just that. Like the phone just never stops ringing. You know, so the guys just stopped answering it, and it's at some point it's like, yeah, I guess I get it. You know, we have a voicemail, but it is hard to answer the phone all day. So anyway, on to the next one. I think these are cool. So this is from, of course, this is a good one too, and I forgot to get the. Oh, Stephen Tran. It's in the email. Cool. Stephen Tran writes, my most memorable Nike SB release was the De La Souls in 2015. Man, days were different in 2015. We could actually take care of some people back then. He's like, I remember camping. This is a part I really like because this is an aspect of sneaker collecting that I actually like. He's like, I remember camping for them and being able to talk about shoes with the other patrons. Probably one of the more tame releases I've ever seen as well. So it was a tame release for the De La Souls.
I don't know where he was at.
Dude.
For a tame release for that one?
It wasn't tame. There was a ton of people in line.
That's like being like, oh yeah, I was at this really quiet spot for the Galaxy phone posits. Or like the staple pigeons. And you're like, what? Get out of here. Where?
I think what he means is it was just cool. Like everybody was so chill. Like I hung out there for a couple hours and we just like talked about dumb shit.
I see what you mean. So he means more like it was big, but it was very relaxed.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
But it was a big release, and I like those days when you can camp and just talk to other people who are interested in the things you're interested in. I think that part of sneaker collecting is pretty cool.
It's definitely, shoes have caused me to meet people for I mean, you're one of them. If it weren't for shoes, I probably you know what I mean? Like it's weird how that works.
So Valentine's Day, the materials are so dope, color's dope. That's from
Now Valentine's Day, I know some people think the Strange Love.
That was the Strange Love, yeah.
But they do have a Valentine's Day one.
They do.
That's like old. I can't remember if it's Pink Box era or not, but
I can't remember either. But anyway,
I'm sure someone's gonna mention it in the comments though.
This one's kind of funny. This was another one that I focused on. That I was like, oh, this is a good one. From Francis Farley, the Bluetile one, because I know it's in the works. Everybody's
already trying to get the inside lane.
In there. We ain't got nothing. But we're always trying to scheme.
I appreciate the hustle, though.
We're always hustling too. We're trying to get that hustle. So we'll see. The Bluetile, because I know it's in the works, but the MIA Low. Cool shoe, even cooler shop. Shame they aren't around anymore. R.I.P. MIA. That was a great shop, and that was
a great shoe. The color combos. I love that teal.
Dude, they had a whole pop-up shop just for that sneaker release, like a separate store. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I swear I was there and saw it.
Would it be like an art basket type thing?
It was like an art. Well, I don't know.
They do that. It's like the first week of December. But the reason the pop-up shop's crazy is because like there's a lot of empty places that just rent out for that 1 week, and it'll be like weird stores or something like that. Wouldn't be surprised if you had a high-end.
I think that's what it was.
That's pretty cool.
I remember being out there, but I can't remember the details because my brain is mush. Onward. Let's see. Naquan Yu. Tough question. My personal favorite right now is the Nike SB Jordan 1 Low Desert Ore. That's a pretty sick one too. Ties into Lance Mountain. I dig that.
I've seen some cool customizations of that one.
The Papa Bear back in 06. Damn it. I mean, it's so crazy to think how long ago that was.
Yeah, and the Three Bears pack is awesome. Like the Mama Bear, I'm into like wild colors and just, I mean, all three are absurd because of the materials, but
I still have the toys.
That's awesome.
The Bear Brick toys.
Yes.
I don't have my shoes anymore yet. So, let's see. My most anticipated Nike drop was the Black Sheet Paid in Full.
Oh.
Sadly, the release was canceled and I did not get a pair. I've actually got a story about that I don't know. I don't know if I should tell it.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
This one, oh man, did I really just do that? I totally blew it on the name, but I love the Safari Dunks. I actually camped outside the store for 2 days for a general release. He didn't say that, but it was a GR, the Safaris. 2 days in advance to get them. Those were the first Dunks I ever purchased, and I love them. I actually work at the T-Mobile on Hardin, which is right near our store, which is awesome. So pretty. He used to go to USC and pretty familiar with the area. Love this skate shop. So thanks for that one. Of course, I cut the name off when I screen grabbed the thing. And then of course there's the Panda Pigeon from Lucas Rodriguez, Jeff Staple, all-time grail. That's pretty much all. That's the short list, but out of
some good ones though.
3,000 plus that we just counted.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they could group messages in 100 just to make it easier for you to look at. Like I didn't even think that was a feature that Gmail had. That's mind blowing.
So I'm scrolling through and I'm like, oh, that's not that many. And then I see this little number beside all of them. I'm like, oh my God, they're all grouped in hundreds.
Oh. Oh. And you call it the scrolling part.
Yeah. All right. God. Anyway, I think that's it. We've been talking forever.
Yeah.
We just want to get some close-ups of these guys, and we are, like I said, we're working on more stuff with Don, hopefully in the future.
Cool stuff in the works, hopefully.
At least one thing that we can definitely release on our own.
Yeah, yeah.
Granted, there may be a little
That'll be an interesting one to look at.
Right, it should be an interesting one. But yeah, I think that's it.
Cool.
Right? You got anything else to add?
Nope. Check out my shop, the Howling Dog Collective. We're attached to Greens on Piney Grove, out in Harbison, like right next to Irmo. My personal Instagram, @MolassesJones.
Which we've shouted out before a
Yeah,
couple times.
yeah. Definitely appreciate the love.
Yeah.
And keep supporting Bluetile.
Word. Thank you guys. All the best. Love Bluetile.
Stay safe.